So like two or three doors down.
Was that Jen and Tim Wolf's old house?
Is that who?
Jen and Tim Wolf's old house, the next
No.
door one?
No, it's,
Not Ranchero. Yes, okay, I know which one.
okay, the people who used to live there were, let me get the name, I'm having a mind blank. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm forgetting this. Let me think on it. They moved to that big house that's way back because his dad owns farmland there. They built their house on. You know the one I'm talking about, the log cabin like this? Yes, thank you. They lived in the one that's the.
You're working on getting Heather in, right?
I thought there was a whole.
That's directly. Well, okay, so they're the land use. They go back the hill to, I'm terrible with
There's
names.
also the Carlin farm, our kids go do chores out of Carlin, so we're going back.
Okay,
I thought that's, but I was like.
I love it because of the way it faces the green belt.
Yeah.
And, you know, it sits up high.
Yeah, one of the first.
She says she's not in yet.
I'm not up there.
I have that. No, I didn't get up at, gosh, well, 5 something. I gotta be in there by 6:15 to take my mom to the hospital at by 7:30. Nice and safe.
Are you ready, Julie?
She's starting new heart. From the hospital before. I don't have the TV of it. Sorry. You're fine. I can use that now later. Yes.
Did you
Hey,
get?
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us? Yeah, it's Heather. Heather, can you hear us?
No,
Just as a-
I can't hear you.
Weird,
Say no.
cause you just acted like you could.
You can see it on there if I'm saying no, I can't hear you.
Oh.
Did you get the list of who wants to speak from the sign-in? Not yet. I can grab it. Thank you.
I see she can hear you now.
Can you hear us, Heather? What's not?
Can you hear me now?
And should work when we tested it. Maybe ask her to call into the Zoom meeting, can you give her the calling information? I can just switch those to the.
She can just call.
I am.
It worked. So what I did different. Okay, I just so you know, I can hear noise now.
Oh, she said she can hear us now.
Yep, I can hear you now.
I'm gonna turn it up.
Talk to us.
Kind of grab the recording device since this isn't.
We'll get started here in just a minute, just trying to go through some technical difficulties.
Which one are you on? Yours?
Yeah.
Now you're right side up.
I just don't understand. Well, okay, I'm glad.
I thought side, I think you have to hold it that way.
They can turn over.
Yeah, but
Okay, going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. We'll begin with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
call. Reister,
Here.
Wyatt,
Here.
Cook,
Here.
Cool,
Here.
Lawson.
Here.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Move on to the approval of the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions or anything on that? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Mayor's comments, just want to welcome everybody to tonight. Thanks for coming. We're gonna move on then to citizens' requests and oral presentation. At this time, I would like to ask if somebody would be a timekeeper for the 5 minutes.
Got it.
5, okay. All right, first one I have on the list is Shannon Ingemels. You want to state your name and your address?
Yep, I'm Shannon Ingeborg. I live at 208 Beverly Boulevard in Hudson. And this is my first council meeting I've attended. I normally trust the process. Okay, I trust the process of community government. However, I feel that the process can no longer be trusted, and the citizens need to speak. So I'm here first and foremost to speak to the school resource program. When the city originally approached the schools about implementing this program, I was not in favor due to the real possibility of seeing the quote school to prison pipeline. For those of you not familiar with this term, it means the path by which students are criminalized by SROs, school resource officers, for minor, often nonviolent behavior. My fear was that the schools would open the doors to an SRO to target our children. However, I was proven wrong in my fears, as Officer Kurika has stepped up. He's handled himself in the position by building relationships with students, mentoring students, and coaching students. I would like to publicly thank Officer Kurika for his commitment to the SRO position. He not only stepped into this role as Hudson's first SRO, he took the passion and the position and nourished it to the place it is now. Officer Kurika has even gone out of his role within this position in the schools and the committee by coaching cross country, football, and track, amongst other things I probably don't even know. He also personally opened the Jamal Kurika Criminal Justice Scholarship Program under the Hudson Education Fund to afford the opportunity to reward a student interested in furthering their education in criminal justice. In this position, Officer Kurika started the Seatbelts for Everyone or the SAFE program, awarding one student monthly for exhibiting safe driving practices. He has shown truly what an SRO should be by developing our students and preparing them for their futures. Again, I want to thank Officer Kurika. With that being said, I hope that the council knows that the position has been rotated for another officer to be the SRO. The surprise that was not on any agenda, that change occurred. So basically I asked why fix something that's not broken, that actually was working 100%. Why the sudden change to a new officer when Officer Kurika had been doing a superb job and is already trained through a fee-based mandatory training that now, in light of the city having financial concerns, is going to be paying for another officer to go to this training. Not to mention the overtime that will happen, that we will pay officers to do to send that officer to training that Officer Kurika already has. Also, I just want to add the National Association of School Resource Officers advises against mandatory rotation of SROs and recommends keeping the same officers at a school district. This consistency helps the SRO presence allow officers to build long-term trusting relationships with students. This can help officers act as informal counselors and mentors in addition to their law enforcement duties. And some of this I was not going to add, but I'm gonna be honest, everyone, I don't know if you know that before this meeting, the last Monday of every month, there is an administration, finance, and personnel committee meeting. I wondered if that might be where this position change was going to be discussed and approved, but it was not. What I saw instead was a very good friend, as far as I know, suggesting that our police chief receive a 3% pay increase, but the rest of the department heads do not.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, next I have is Ernest.
Ernest Holmes, 215 Washington. I put my time over to Cody Rutley for when he gives his 5 minutes, put my time on him.
I don't think we can do that.
No,
That
that's
is how it
not.
works. You have to vote on it. It's already been researched. You can decline it.
Heather?
but you have to vote.
Heather?
What was the question?
If council can vote to let someone else use somebody else's minutes.
No. I mean, a person can talk based upon what the minutes are. We can't pass minutes off to another person.
It is a law. That's fine.
Okay.
You go from there.
We will move on then to Holly Roberts.
Well, I'm Holly Roberts, 216 Washington Street. I was also going to give my 5 minutes to Cody, but since we cannot do that, I'll just say a couple things just to kind of piggyback off what Shannon had said regarding the SRO officer. I think that's why a lot of us parents are here. We're very frustrated with the fact that we're willing to make the change. He's been with our kids for 3 years. Both of my kids love him dearly. Like, he coaches my son's football. So we're just here for answers on why we're changing the SRO after 3 years. And he knew that he was gonna probably come back, and then the next day the announcements made that there's all of a sudden a change. Not that the other officer would not do a good job, because he's a great officer as well. However, like Shannon said, it's not advised to change an SRO officer because of the relationships that they form with our kids and the work that they do with our students, which I think should be number one in our community. Our kids are our future. They respect him. They like working with him. I feel like it was done out of spite that he's no longer going to be in that position. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't agree that we should switch to a new SRO officer every 2 years. I think that causes a lot of confusion with our students. Because we have an officer in for 2 years, and then the next 2 years we have someone else, and then we're just repeating that change over and over again. So since Cody can't have my time, I'll speak for myself, but thank you.
Thanks, Holly.
You're next. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next I have is Sheila Hesse. Are you speaking on the SRO?
It's hazy, it's not Hesse.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, it's a common mistake.
Yep.
Yes, I am speaking on that.
Okay, and I believe, how many minutes did Holly have? We have 10 minutes on each topic
Okay.
total.
Okay,
So
am I just piggybacking off of that? I have kids that have had, a lot of.
if you want to go ahead and give us your address.
Sheila Hazy, 116 Whitetail. I've had kids in the school that have received extensive bullying. I've come home with black eyes. I've had to change work because of bus beatings up. I've had, my daughter had death threats last year. They're only in 5th and 8th grade this year. we've had a big bullying problem in the school. I know it's hard to hear, but we also had 3 students last year attempt suicide. We have a problem. One of the problems of the solution was the SRO. I grew up in a big city. We had about 15 SROs in our school, and it was great. You got to know them. I knew them all 4 years. They stayed. You get a rapport. They can help you out in situations that maybe they're not comfortable talking to the student or school counselor or your parents. And I said, Officer Karika is a godsend for my kids, because last year was the first year my kid walked through the halls and he was all right. My daughter went to him twice and just said, I don't feel safe. And I said, he is a godsend, and not putting down the other officer, though he did pull me over the other day. I just am so upset that Karika will not be in those hallways for my kids that have always had it rough at Hudson, always. So that's just my piece, and I hope he can maybe come back. Maybe it's an additional SRO if finances is not an issue for retraining.
Thank you. Next on the list, I have Cody.
Pass these all around.
That looks like me on the hallway.
Sorry. You do it.
Oh, I don't need one, thank you.
Just pass those around. That's for my deal here. My name is Cody Rutledge. I own Hudson Automotive.
What's your
110 Wood
residence?
Street,
What's your residence?
Desert, Iowa.
So you're not a resident in Hudson?
No, sir.
You own property in Hudson?
No, I pay plenty of taxes in
Just
Hudson.
wanted to clarify that before we got going too far, that you are not a resident or own property. Go ahead, you're on the
Let's
clock.
restart. You just
No,
used
you're
my
on the
time.
clock, go.
You just used my time.
Go,
Ridiculous.
you are.
Just go.
Go.
I will keep speaking. You'll have to arrest me. Before I begin, I would like to make it very known that I'm one of the most thin blue line promoting and supporting people around. Banks has shared with us other officers, and I would imagine the community members, that I hate the police. This is not true. I have a large issue with the mismanagement of funds, the ego, and the victimization of community members and other officers. I presented photos specifically of my particular situation. If you missed the last meeting, I talked about how they were going to punish me for speaking out against the chief of police. This is exactly that. This photo is the chief of police who retaliated for the statements I made last week. And like I mentioned in the meeting, he did just that. Here are 2 officers and a sheriff's deputy pulling me over to write me a window tint ticket. Absolutely ridiculous. It's an ego-filled power trip. That's what it is. He's also retaliating by attempting to remove my First Amendment to speak in this open meeting, just like these guys are. And the mayor is just on board with it. She told me the other day. So it's crazy. I'm not a fortune teller. This is a trend for Mr. Banks. Anyone who has challenged his fragile ego in the past has paid for it through police means that can be implemented under the guise of what he is doing is legal. There are many victims of Banks' ego-driven policing policies. I just want to bring it to light so our leaders can do their jobs and address it. I can and will bring many stories to light in the coming weeks from many people of the community who have come to me after the last time I spoke. In addition to submitting FOIA requests to his previous employer, I do have to move fast, so I'm going to move faster. The latest victim of Mr. Banks is his own officer, Jamal, who has been removed from the SRO position as punishment. I personally believe the SRO position is important and we should be fully funded by the school. If the school budget cannot afford it, then there should not be the position. That being said, I'm going to share what I know about the decision he has made, and this is gathered from many members of the community who have shared directly with me. Banks pushed for the removal of the SRO position solely so Mr. Ego Banks does not have to do any street patrol. In other words, he doesn't want to have to do his job. Jamal has shared that Banks did not have the ability to remove that position in a council meeting and since has become his victim, just like many other people. I turned in an open records request. They're paying a lawyer to look at body camera footage to determine if they give it to me, I'm paying $10 an hour and they're charging you $300 an hour. The next thing I would like to address is the chief of police has shared an open opinion that I should not be allowed to speak at the council meetings as I do not live in town. Clearly, Jeff shares the same opinion. This was confirmed by the mayor the other day when I spoke to her in this city hall. You should have put a stop to that conversation as soon as you heard it, because that is ridiculous. I own a business in this town. I am a taxpayer of this town. I employ people in this town, and I pay taxes every time I go to the gas station, just like everybody else who lives here. until Banks didn't get his way, I'm gonna skip a few things, but he swapped Jamal out because Banks didn't get his way like a child, an ego-driven child. You people are not attacking anything or taking care of any problems. All you're doing is let them continue, and you're being childish and not a leader for this community. Who is responsible for all of this? The answer is in this room as much as the finances too. As much as it is with the city administrator, it's with every one of you, including that man, and I would say some other public departments too, but I don't think that they're nearly as at fault. Who pays when you don't pay bills on time? Us, not them. They just push it on to us. Who pays when Banks gets the community into a lawsuit? Not him. We pay for it. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And you guys need to stand up for it. You guys need to do your jobs and say, hey, this is crazy. Okay? You're responsible for this and you need to take accountability tonight. This is not going to disappear because you borrow more money and try to bury it. It's time to face the music. Police chiefs, contractors who live in this town, many people have taken advantage of the system because of this city council specifically. And we need people who can stand up to bullies and have a conscious task if they're actively being convinced or manipulated by somebody like an ego-driven police chief. You need to stand up strong and decide to fix this quickly or move to the side and allow somebody else to do it. And I've got a few gifts for you guys. One is budgeting for dummies. The other is extreme ownership. Both we don't know how to do.
I don't believe we could accept these gifts.
Gifts by law.
But since I'm not there, I apologize. I can't see what's being handed to you. What's being handed to you?
One.
Okay. We'll move on to next is Danny McCauley. You're not speaking on the SRO?
I'm speaking on the, last meeting.
Okay.
And then about the financials
Okay.
of the SRO.
Financial, just let it.
It's just about, I didn't realize that the whole team was gonna be showing up today.
Did you give Julie one of those too?
Well.
Okay, just want to make sure that she can put it in the minutes.
We need one. All right, here.
Oh.
Here, Lily. Okay.
All right, Danielle McCulley,
Let it go.
my time. Danielle McCulley, speaking in my role as editor of the Hudson Herald. At the last meeting, I raised concern about the city's failure to comply with Iowa code on public notices. Specifically, Iowa Code 372.136 requires city councils to publish meeting minutes, a summary of all receipts and disbursements, totals for each fund, and a list of all claims allowed, and to publish them within 15 days of the meeting in a newspaper in general circulation. At that time, the last set of minutes I had received was from May, not March. I was incorrect. So on that. The bills, however, had not been published since February. Since then, the city clerk has provided me with everything I need to publish, and the city is now in compliance. I appreciate that step forward. Speaking as a resident at 109 Elm Street, I want to be clear, while I was wrong on the date, I was not wrong on the law. And what concerns me most is that instead of addressing the violation, the only times this council has chosen to respond to me in months of speaking were to argue over that detail. And when you went to approve a budget that you did not know was at a deficit. That is not accountability, that is deflection. And it tells the public that being right in the moment is being valued more than being real with the facts. Now, I do want to turn to another concern, the school resource officer position. In July, this council asked the school board to eliminate the SRO because of the city's financial strain, a position the city itself argued was necessary. When that request was denied, the city kept the position but rotated a different officer into it. This decision carries costs. Officer Husidich is enrolled in NASRO or NASRO's 40-hour basic training program, which means tuition, travel, room, board, and coverage costs. Yet we already have an officer who meets the requirements. Why are we paying to fix something that isn't broken?
And more concerning, why would we invest taxpayer money to train someone for a position that could so easily be requested to be taken away again? That's not just wasteful, it's unstable. This isn't about Officer Husidich, whom I do respect. It's about decisions. Rotating officers sends a confusing message to kids, undermines stability, and above all, it is fiscally irresponsible in a budget. Council, these are taxpayer dollars. We need responsible choices that reflect the reality of our financial situation. I urge you to reconsider your decision in the matter to regain the public's trust with how you are spending their money. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak? Okay. We'll move on to committee reports. Hudson Public Works meeting from August 13th.
That's me.
Yep.
Before I get into a comment about the Public Works meeting, I just want to say that I think this kind of interaction is healthy, it's good, and it's long overdue. And I'm not taking sides on anything. I just think people need to speak out. Like, where's this city? I'm not trying to get applause. We've been through a mess. Every one of us have some blood on our hands with regard to it, and people should be pissed off. And so say it and don't hide. And that, I mean, this is what we signed up for. We're big boys and girls. We can take this. Okay. So I want to say thank you to the community for showing up and speaking out. And I would welcome more people to do that in the future.
Matt, one quick thing. There's Toby's over here echoing in my ear every 2 seconds. I'm gonna agree with Matt, every word Matt said. Don't be critical about it. Bring your point, okay? Say your points. Make them worth what you're saying, okay? Cody, I know.
I'm listening.
When tempers flare, words start to stumble. Okay, we all need to be calm. We all need to get through this. I know there's a lot of stuff on the, tonight's agenda. We just need to be calm about it. Matt's right. A year ago, we saw nobody sitting in this meeting. Nobody was worried. When we signed up the SRO, nobody was here. Involvement does help. We're listening. If you go back on the votes and maybe look at who voted for what, I would strongly recommend that. Go ahead, Matt.
So we had a Public Works meeting on August 13th. Basically 2 items in that meeting. Number one, we had a couple citizens come in and question an item that went through our committee, the previous meeting, and went through council recently, and that was to take water main to a development. We had a conversation about, was that in the actual agreement? It was not in the agreement, but we went ahead and approved it because it had been in previous agreements and it was tacitly assumed and basically verbally, although not in writing, committed to the developer. And so we thought we needed to follow through on that. One of the things that came out of that was that we will in the future make sure that that's specified clearly. And so that's the update on that. And then we had from Parks and Rec, Megan and Diane came in, and I can just say they're trying to do what they can to, after the resignation of our previous Parks and Rec directors, to kind of put that whole department together, the ball program, the summer adventure program. And Jeff, you're at the meeting. I mean, they're doing a phenomenal job for us. And they're meticulous with their numbers, and we don't have absolute clarity on what that's going to look like. But I can just say that I was really pleased with the amount of detail and information that we were able to exchange with Megan and Diane, and their buy-in and their commitment to their ownership of that program. And I expect it to thrive under their and others' leadership on that committee.
Any questions for Matt?
I would also, can I piggyback on that? I appreciate them taking a couple of steps extra. We recently had a Gallagher Blue Door block party, and the Park and Rec board stepped up to come to that. and sell concessions on a as needed basis to make some additional money to supplement that budget. And I appreciate those board members stepping up to do that, because any little part of that is gonna help for those kids. To make that, so just appreciation of that part.
Great.
Okay, we'll move into general government. The Hudson City Council maintains the right to waive the second and third reading of the ordinances presented and may pass the first and final reading of the same ordinance within the same council meeting. Okay, we'll begin with resolution 3369, approving the job description of the Parks and Rec Director. I'll move.
Second.
Any questions?
Is that in there? Is there a salary?
No, we will be adding, no, it wasn't in the job description that we
Oh,
gave them.
okay.
We will be adding it that it is at the $10,000 for a year.
Is that? My question is, and I apologize that I didn't read through the entire job description. Is it more than the ball program that we're?
Yes.
Yes, okay, because I would like to, do some proposals on if it's time that ball program with that many kids is split off from Park and Rec. Into their own 501c3 or whatever that case may be, kind of like an Optimist type of deal. Not that we can't lease the fields for $1, whatever the case may be, but I think that's an option I want on record that needs to be at least looked at. In order to make this a little bit easier for our size of town. Because there are 300 kids, I think, something like that have been in that ball program, so.
I think that based on the conversation that we had, I think they're ready to take that on.
Yeah.
And I think that they're fine. Are you suggesting that $10,000 doesn't go very far for that big of a job?
The other way around, I'm suggesting if that ball program is completely split off, we may not need to pay $10,000 for that type of a job.
Mhm. I
That it
think,
should be a self-funded
Yep.
within their own team versus anything coming city-wise, if that makes sense to
Yeah.
you.
Because they included in there, to be the director of Kids Adventure in the job
Even so,
description.
I mean, same thing kind of, with that, the funding with that, the fees should be paying that amount. And I want to make sure that if it's with the city, we're raising the fees in order to pay that. Or if it's not with the city, if it's on their own, obviously that's what you would do in any normal business situation, is you would charge enough fees to cover all your costs.
yeah, and that's definitely the plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
The expectation is that the ball program, the parks, Jake, you helped us clarify the language on this. I keep saying Parks and Rec. There's more of Parks and Rec than just what they came and talked about. Can you give us some clarification? Yeah, but yeah, the rec program, which is essentially the ball program.
Flag football.
Yep.
Kids.
The adventure, summer
Kids
kids adventure.
Wasn't there a cheer one at one time too, or something?
And I think they have plans to try other stuff that hasn't been done.
Okay, yeah, that's the biggest one to me that has for so many years morphed into this humongous deal. And that was really the feedback I got from the two previous directors was, that's not enough money to pay me to do this job during just ball season. And that's what concerned me.
Yeah.
Is that, okay, that's fine, but then we need to raise fees to cover for what it does cost to do that, or it needs to be split. It's time.
And to put it in real clear numbers, I mean, we paid $40,000
Right,
for the last 2 years to rec program directors.
I thought it was 30.
Per year, right?
20 and 20, wasn't it?
2020.
So
Yeah,
40,
Was it
40,000
30?
each
I thought it
year.
was 15.
No,
20 and 20.
20 and 20.
And we did that on an experimental basis, and I voted for it back when I thought we had money that we didn't have. And we said that we were gonna do this on a trial basis.
And that's why.
And so we've done the trial basis. We found out in the meantime that we didn't have money that we thought we had. And,
Nor did we make any of that money
Money
back.
back.
right,
Coming
and
in
so,
for some
so I think the girls,
Let me say something on that. I don't know that we tracked the inbound as well as what we should have.
that's
That could be
right.
too.
Out of the program.
Yeah.
We didn't track through that program like we should have.
Sure.
And that's some of the things we're gonna do now.
Yep.
And as we talk to these two, you
And
know,
they're great, by the way.
you know, self-funding is the idea with this program.
Perfect.
It really can be a self-funding
I-
program.
Yeah.
if not growing it by increasing revenue.
Right.
I mean, that,
They have plans. I attended their board meeting and they have plans to start to, how do I want to say it? To rent ball diamonds
Yep.
out more. And they want to,
Yeah, we had
Bring
talked
in-
about that a few months ago. when
yeah,
all this
and they're
came down.
gonna look at the rates and all that as if
Yeah,
you're resident
No,
or
they're not.
non-resident.
Yeah,
So,
perfect.
yeah.
Okay.
So
I just, like I
they're
said,
going to-
that's just an idea that's been plaguing me since this whole thing started, and I mentioned it in that very first meeting that I had attended with you as well. Is if we're truly getting to that size, it's kind of like when Hudson Days split off of the city. You know, when it gets to that size, it's time for it to be its own 501c3. It's not like when I was a kid and we got a $5 t-shirt. You know, it's a whole different ballgame,
Yeah.
literally a ballgame now.
They wanna,
So,
they wanna market themselves into like, I guess like Waterloo, when they have tournaments, they also take them to like Gilbertville.
Yes.
And they're like, our field is so much better than Gilbertville.
Yeah, we've
We need to
suggested that for a
market
while.
ourselves and get them here.
Yep,
So
so great.
that's what their plans are.
But, so
So-
just so that's kind of on record.
Okay,
Thank you.
I believe we have a motion and a second. Roll call?
Wyatt,
No.
Cook,
Is this just for the job description unto itself?
Yes.
For the job, for the job description.
Alright, Sewell,
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Okay, discussion action to post for the Parks and Rec Director.
So moved.
Any other further discussion?
I'll just add to the conversation and say that I feel like it's warranted because I think we need a transition time. So I think that moving the direction Kate's talking about is wise, but I think that to expect that to happen overnight is probably not realistic. So I think that I would vote favorably at this point.
I just think it's August right now and you have until, you know, if we don't do it sometime, it's gonna not happen, but appreciate.
I don't wanna see our kids suffer.
That's not anything that I'm asking for. No.
The reason I'm for this and not for what you're saying is because I think this is the best chance we have to end up in the black significantly in that program.
I'm skeptical of that, but I hope you're right.
That's fair.
Again, I think
I'm
it's all for the
just,
kids,
just
but
reporting from that meeting. I mean, these gals have their ducks in a row to a degree that I haven't seen ducks in a row for a long time.
I think if it's handled properly and they go after events that are profitable,
Mhm.
it can be very profitable.
I think it has the potential as well. It's just tough when you're on a volunteer board trying to make it that way.
Yep.
Which is my concern, and it's been that concern for 10 years.
And, you know, just like our policy's written, board members can't be paid.
Right,
So
Right.
That was something we discussed with the two of you also.
yeah, no, absolutely agree, but like I said, it's just. And again, that's why we have 5 votes. Appreciate everybody's time into this, though, for sure. It's not, I don't wanna see the program go away. Don't get me wrong with that. But when we're talking about dollars and cents coming out of taxable money into a rec program, it seems to me that those funds, it's just eliminating the non-tax related programs is kind of where I'm coming from with that, if that makes sense.
And I told them after having been through the last couple of months with them and stuff to get them more of a realization, this is your, what you collected in monies and this is what was paid out for the expenses so that they have a better idea of moving forward.
They definitely have not had enough information,
Yeah.
so they definitely need that.
Okay, roll call?
That was just a discussion.
No,
We had,
that was,
I motioned and Jeff seconded.
Cook,
Aye.
Sewell. Aye. Lawson.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Wyatt.
no,
motion carries 4-1.
Okay, so just to be clear, I want to make sure I
Motion.
understood. So we are posting officially for a Parks and Rec Director, correct?
Yes.
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 Okay. Just making it clear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
she's so quiet.
We'll go on to resolution 3370, appointing a Parks and Rec board member. And this is Suzanne Hanson, and she's willing to come on board. She even attended the meeting that they had already. They had a full board, so that's good to see.
I would submit that for approval.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call?
We have Stool. Hi. Walter.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye, no.
Cook.
Lori brought that up too,
Okay.
but
We'll move on to discussion action to post for police officer positions. Wanted to let you know that the admin personnel finance committee met just before this. I had recommended to them, since we have it already budgeted within our budget for the one full-time position that was vacated and the part-time position. And they voted to recommend this to council. And so that's where I'm at as to what I would like to recommend to you guys is that we go with that, with the full-time position and a part-time position.
I would make a motion, and this is me making this motion, that it be 2 full-time officers. And if somebody seconds that, I can explain why. And if you don't, you don't.
I'll second it so I can hear your case.
Okay. So as of today, we are down to 5 officers. We have Chief Banks. We have Officer Husidich. We have Officer Karika, Officer Eggers, and Jesse Paul as Officer Paul is our part-time.
And
Is that
Officer
correct?
Psalm.
And Officer Psalm, excuse me. 5 full-time and 1 part-time, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we have 5 full-time, 1 part-time. We are now, Karika Husidich, whoever it is, pulls out of that, which is then down to 4 full-time and 1 part-time that we currently have. And there is can I say this out in advance, a potential of, okay, there is a potential of 1 other officer that will be gone in October. A full-time officer that will be leaving us in October. So that would leave us down to 3 current full-time and 1 part-time person. To run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So,
Repeat that statement, please. That we're talking about 1 additional person leaving
there is 1 full-time officer who will be leaving us in October.
for sure.
Yeah,
We have not received written notice.
Yeah, we just don't know when.
Yes,
And that'll leave us at 4 full-time
No.
and 1.
3 full-time and 1
why-
part-time.
Why?
Because Husidich or Karika, one of the 2 has to go to the SRO position, full-time.
Okay, so we're giving up 1 to the SRO position.
Correct. So that will leave us down to 3 full-time and 1 part-time for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Replacing Officer Wiersma and Officer, technically Walters, is also gone from a full-time position who has been deployed. So even adding these 2 just replaces those 2 and does not replace the SRO position.
But one of the 2 was cut from the budget. We cut an officer from the budget.
But that. Okay. So even so. Okay,
Okay, 1
Right
year
now, what we
ago,
have open, that
1
was
year ago, what did we have?
9.
9 what?
9, including K9. No, oh, and the dog, not the officer. I was confused there. I'm like, that's 10 then.
Danny, say that again.
Year ago, we're at 7 full, 2 part, again.
And we will be down to 3 full-time and 1 part-time.
I would support what you're proposing.
I'm not proposing adding an additional part-time at this.
Right.
But I think we're still down then 1.5. but I am open to discussion.
Here's where I'm at. And this is gonna be no surprise to Kate or Danny or Gail or Julie, because I've been on an email thread with them for
Or
the
Heather.
last, or Heather, for the last several days. We're in a situation where we are underwater financially. We have debt service that we're gonna have to repay, so we need to better than balance our budget. And we're still waiting, and I'm not throwing darts at anyone because there's been a problem with the software. We've been in a clerk transition. Julie is more than capable. She's doing a good job, but we're waiting on our real numbers. We submitted a budget to meet the state requirement for our budget. And we knowingly submitted that with the expectation that we would go back and revisit what the real numbers are whenever we get the real numbers. And people are working feverishly on getting us the real numbers. I think this is first of all, it's my gut. And second of all, even if it wasn't my gut, I think it's my responsibility on this council to expect the worst case scenario and prepare for it. But it's my gut that we're going to be in a tougher spot than we think we are. And it's an already pretty tough spot where it's not good enough to balance the budget that we submitted to meet the requirement of the law. But we're going to have to way more than underspend that budget, because we're going to way more than spend money paying back debt. And so until I see real numbers, I can't get on board with now I just voted to hire a $10,000 Parks and Rec person who's going to be self-sufficient. I mean, I was in the meeting, and my expectation is that it'll be paid for. Not only can I not support 2 full-time, I'm going to vote no on 1 full-time and 1 part-time. And that's not because I'm anti-police. That's because we've got a spending issue here. We've got a financial issue here. And I'm afraid, now I would love, when we get the real numbers, I would love to be wrong. And I would love to go, you know what? We got more money than I thought we had. But right now, I can't commit to that because I don't think we will. And the last thing I'm going to do, I'll cut police officers, I'll cut fire people or fire trucks, I'll cut whatever people love before I personally vote to put an increased tax burden on taxpayers. They didn't get us into this. And so I'm a no on her proposal, and I'm a no on Gail's recommendation.
Are you willing to deal with the ramifications of that, in that may mean time where we're not able to provide coverage?
I am one of the ideas I floated, and I know Danny doesn't like this, but I don't know that we have the luxury to have an administrative fire chief.
That's police chief, you mean? Not
I'm
fire.
sorry, police chief. That's right.
We don't have the administrative fire chief, just so everybody knows, clear on that.
Yeah. And so I think that there are ways to get creative and think outside the box in a way that we haven't thought outside the box yet to get this nut cracked. And again, I'm one of 5 guys, 5 people up here. So that's just where I'm at.
I know this has been personnel, so I'm out in the cold on this. I haven't heard any of the comments. This is my first. That you brought up, has that been discussed, or has there been plans put together? None of that then?
I'm not on personnel, I don't know.
Plans put together on what can be more specifically?
Like Matt's program to where he thinks we can run with 3 and 1, whatever that number is today. What have been the discussions, or what are the options besides hiring? What do we do? Cut?
We haven't entertained it because.
Do we cut it to 2 shifts a day, not 3?
The position of the committee, in my opinion, was, that, we're seeing that it is a cut, right? It is a cut to hire 1.5 or even 2. That is a cut. So that's where the committee has had conversation.
Okay.
Part of, the current chief's, job description says that he would cover shifts that need to be covered, and he is doing that right now.
Well, in these numbers, he is one of the full-time officers. I'm not excluding him from these numbers. So when we get down to 3, it's not 3 plus him.
Mhm.
It's 3 total.
Mhm.
And we have the obligation that we have gone multiple times out to the community to say, do you want 24-hour a day, 7-day a week police coverage? If we have that duty to uphold 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you cannot do it with 3 full-time people and 1 part-time person.
Have we had a definitive response from the community that yes, they want that?
We have done multiple surveys with that over the tenure that I have been here. We've done 2.
I don't think that's happened since I've been here, but
as one who's against this, I would say that it's generally, what I've heard is that the community generally would like 24/7 coverage.
Absolutely.
I'll concede that.
Mhm. So how do you do it with 3 full-time, 1 part-time?
That's why we're in this seat. Sometimes everyone doesn't get what they want
Right,
just because they want it.
There's, three?
there will be.
Okay, but he
Okay.
hasn't.
No,
voted it.
no,
Like,
Just-
there's.
We're getting ahead of
Yeah.
some things here.
just discussion here, please.
I would add to the conversation that I am very concerned that we are not only gonna lose the ones that we're losing, but that we are gonna probably lose if we are not, if we're working them to death.
Mhm.
I am very concerned that we're gonna lose the ones that, the 3.
And then,
Very concerned we're gonna lose the 3.
Okay, I'm gonna weigh in on this one. Back in the 70s, just in the town proper itself, nothing in the northern tier. We had 3 officers. Their shifts. 7 days of day shift, 12 hours. You then went to 7 days of night shift, 12 hours. You then had 1 week off for your vacation time, court time, training time, etc. Okay, that's 84 hours a week for 1 person.
Mhm.
That's 44 hours of overtime. You go by union rules, 44 hours of overtime. The other thing that I remember when I was on the fire department, with the fire department, we're at a certain level of protection, our insurance rates,
Mhm.
low. You go to the police department, it'd be the same thing. So once again, you lower the police officers, you can expect your insurance rate to be going up. And where's that money gonna come from? And how high is it gonna go on the premiums? That's another thing to keep in mind. It's cheaper to hire 2 full-time officers. There's a pay, a whopping bigger insurance premiums.
Do we have an analysis done on that?
No.
Would it be appropriate to ask for Maggie to speak to us about?
what?
Well, I don't think this is something I
No,
can speak
no.
to.
Where we are on the budget.
Yeah.
situation.
No, that's
Oh,
not,
she's not on.
And that's not me.
Right.
Okay, yeah,
Right.
sorry.
Okay.
Backing up,
Okay.
where are we at as of right now? Count.
It's me and Dale, Jamal, Tyler, Travis. Travis on his way out, and then Officer Paul. And right now, I mean, I
But-
can't put it out there and I talk to people on the side. I don't care, we're not 24/7 right now. I can't staff, protect the city 24/7, so
So 4 full,
right now, today, we have 5,
5 full,
but the school started today, so that took, who said it's out? So we have 4 full,
and 1 part.
correct, as of today.
Danny, how many hours does the part-time guy get?
he's getting more now.
Well, what number is that?
I thought his max was 34. Or 30,
In a week, the pay
Yeah.
period, he's getting
60 every 2.
about 60. And he does have another police job up in Clarksville.
So if I could just ask, Kate,
So
can you hear me
again,
okay?
my other concern oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Heather.
Sorry, I'm still unclear on the answer to what exactly has been budgeted for within the police department budget for positions this year.
We all
How
are.
many?
We originally, and this is my recollection, and you're on this committee too, so tell me if I'm correct on this, that we voted to cut 1 full-time officer, correct? Did we vote to cut 1 or 2?
I don't remember, and the reason I don't remember is because I knew at the time that
We're gonna
whatever we
revisit.
decided didn't matter, because we're gonna eventually look at it and make some real decisions.
Right.
When we get real numbers.
So I agree with anything over this base of 5 and 1 needs to be discussed way further. But I
Okay.
don't think
Point of
having,
clarification, 5 and 1 plus the SRO, or including the SRO?
Including.
Include,
Okay,
Well, can you? include
no,
the SRO?
no, not including the SRO.
Right,
okay.
not including the SRO.
You guys are confusing me, sorry.
The SRO is still
An officer.
still an officer, so I would say on Thursday, Friday this week, the SRO is covering the school and city per shift. I'm covering second shift, and then I'll be going to call.
Covering third shift.
Yeah.
So we are making some concessions with some of those times to get through this portion. Now, the other part of this is not a position that you hire and have in 2 days. You know what I mean? Or 2 weeks even, for that matter. Now, another option, sorry, Heather, is can we go potentially to a reserve officer situation? Or-
Can of worms, but it's just another.
Can we hire on call? Is there a way, like I can hire a temporary person to come in on that? Can you hire an on-call certified person to come in and police the town?
Well, me and Solomon is doing. It's really cool.
Right, but could you hire, let's say, an off-duty Waterloo officer that wanted to come in? Could we hire him as a temporary contract employee?
He did, but I'm taking the position or very shaky.
I'm just wondering if it's legal to do. Heather, I don't know if you have any information about that either, but that's
Yeah,
something that can be discussed at a public safety meeting.
Yes, I mean, yes, I have a number of small towns that have reserve police officers.
Sure.
It's about finding the human being that's willing to do something like that.
She has a number of small
So-
towns that have reserve police officers. That is a possibility.
So,
Once again, that includes training, if you're a warrant officer on call, the response time, make you down here, just walk out and respond to a call.
no, I'm wondering if you could have a reserve officer actually scheduled for a shift in town. Hire them as a contract person.
You can do a reserve, the whole reserve program, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
So Kate, your thinking is
There's some options going forward, but I still think we have to have enough people that actually can cover the full-time shift, the full-time shift schedule.
Are you thinking that would get us through until we know more about the budget numbers then? Is that what you're trying to?
Well,
get us to?
and if that's the case and we need to do 1.5 until then, I'm okay, but you've also hired that half person.
Right.
Either way, we're gonna keep on whoever we hire as long as they're staying. So if we don't go to 2 part-time and we go to 2 full-time, I don't know the correct answer for this, but I know that you cannot cover 8 out, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with 3 full-time people. I just know you can't do it. And me, if I'm on third shift at 4 o'clock in the morning, pulling over somebody on a highway after I've already worked 84 hours in that week, it's not safe.
Think of the overtime you're milking.
Well, but then we're paying more. So then we're in the hole further if we're milking 84 hours a week. You know what I mean? So again, I don't know the right answer for this right now, but I don't want to continuously wait 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks, because then we're in big trouble when we're down to 2 people.
And maybe 0 if it continues that way for very long.
I don't know, Matt, do you have any other suggestions?
So right now,
Mm-mm.
we're discussing the option to post for the position, not hire, post,
That's a good point.
correct?
Heather, does that?
That's correct. That's what your agenda has, but I would tell you, it's not exactly good practice to post for a position and then decide later that you're not going to hire a viable employee.
And Heather, where I was headed with that, people talking 1, 1.5, 2. If we post for a position and we find a successful candidate, 1, then we're looking at hiring 1.
Correct.
If
If
we
you don't
find-
have viable people for a half, then you can't hire a half. Correct.
Right. I don't
But
know.
what you're trying to say is that we go ahead and post for one position and then,
If we find
back
2
and-
wonderful candidates,
come back and say,
maybe, but at least 1.
Or we have to get more.
Part-time, I don't know if that's a good, that's a tough one. I don't know. I'm torn on part-time.
Danny talked to us about part-time versus full-time.
The benefits. You're not paying.
Right,
benefits.
as far as effectiveness for your sake, for your
Oh,
team's sake.
You know, they're great for, you know, obviously like Hudson Days, big events, or officer vacations, because we need vacations. Officers get sick. But right now, my schedule is so tight that I hope nobody gets sick.
Do you get good quality candidates for a part-time position?
Not to brag, but I got about 6, 7 lined up,
Part-time?
and a couple part-time, yeah.
So-
Certified,
Certified?
I would be okay amending my motion to do the 1.5.
And I would support that.
I, with the major discussion, the major numbers we've got to get this handled, because again, I don't want to be paying out a ton of overtime either. You know what I mean? And putting us into that situation either.
I mean, the part-time does eliminate the benefits, which is a,
Pretty big cost savings.
yeah.
So Heather, they done a friendly amendment. Do we need to
Yep,
vote
Kate.
on that?
Kate makes
Yes.
a motion to amend her original resolution, her original motion at this juncture, and then if that gets a second, then you can call the question on that.
Okay, so all those in favor
Well,
of,
wait, Kate, did you make
I'll
a
make the
motion?
motion to amend to the 1.5.
And I'll second
Okay,
that.
is there a
And
second
Lori
on
is
that?
seconding that.
Okay, now you can take a roll
Okay.
call on whether or
call?
not.
All right, Cook. School, I got it.
Aye.
Lawson,
Aye.
Reeser,
No.
Wyatt.
Aye.
motion carries 4-1. Okay, resolution 3371 approving signatories for the bank, and this is for Green State.
Nobody's on it, I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
After we did some investigating, so.
Who's going on?
Myself, Kate as Mayor Pro Tem, Julie, and then.
Mary.
And Mary Busey.
Yep.
Mary Busey, you're here, right?
So moved.
You know this? Thank you. Second.
I thought it was.
Okay.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call?
School. Aye. Lawson.
Aye.
Reeser.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Aye.
And who was, made the first motion?
I did.
Thank you.
I seconded.
Got that.
Got it. Oh, shoot, I still have one over.
Resolution 3372 approving and appointing a deputy city clerk. This is for Ashley Siebel at $20 an hour, and she will be starting tomorrow on August 26th.
So move. Or second. Put it whatever order you want.
Got it.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Lawson.
Aye.
Reeser.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Cook. School.
Aye.
Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing regarding the plat survey for the Zimmerman Family Farm LLC. Have we received any written comments, Julie?
No, we have not.
Okay, is there any oral comments here tonight? Okay, I will go ahead and close the public hearing. Move on to resolution 3373, approving the plat of survey for the Zimmerman Farms LLC.
So moved.
Discussion?
You just provide a little more background.
They just wanted, to have the plat, divided down the middle. Okay, to have two different.
This created two rectangular lots, is my recollection, versus one, correct?
Mary, correct me if I'm wrong on this. What it is when they put in new Highway 20, 80 acres of farm ground that Mary had, the original, or Mary's a part of, the original plat lines and that were running east and west. They put new Highway 20 in, that landlocked 40 acres to the north. So all they're doing now is taking those lot lines, instead of running east-west, they're going north and south, to get everything from
Makes sense.
Ranchero Road.
Okay.
So that's all it is.
Roll call?
Reeser.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
School.
Aye.
Lawson.
Okay, before I open the public hearing on the proposed, and we get to the rest of the agenda, Maggie, is this would be a great time to
This is
have?
what I can talk about.
We've got, Maggie Berger here with Spear Financial and is our financial consultant for the city.
So I'm gonna talk first about items 15 through 20, because this is one item. So 15 through 20, although you have multiple things you're voting on, this is one item, one rebate agreement. So what we're here to talk about tonight is a TIF rebate agreement. There are 4 TIF rebate agreements that we're talking about. One is item 15 through 20, and 3 of them are items 21 through 28. And the reason for that is this first rebate agreement that we're talking about is a new housing district, a new housing TIF district. So with anything, I remind you, you have my folder here is your base value, and this is TIF. TIF is what grows above the base value. So right now there's just land, right? There's nothing else, and you're gonna grow. And what you're gonna do is rebate a portion of the new taxes that get paid off of this TIF. You're gonna rebate a portion of those taxes to that developer. And that's what we're talking about tonight, entering into setting up the TIF, following the legal parameters of what you can do with TIF. For this, why this one is different than the others, this one is a brand new TIF area. So it needs a new TIF ordinance. It needs a necessity finding that you can set up a new urban renewal. All housing are done in their own standalone, because housing has more restrictions at the state level than commercial or economic development, commercial industrial economic development. So for a housing TIF district, the way that we set it up is we can set up an entire urban renewal area, which we're talking about. Then TIF districts can be set up within that urban renewal area. And those TIF districts then function in about an 11-year time frame per the state law. And housing TIF has to be in accordance with building of infrastructure, meaning the developer has to build infrastructure, city or water, sewer, stormwater, sidewalks, streets. If there's infrastructure already there, then you can't rebate TIF on a housing development. So this is a blank space. This is a blank canvas. And that's what we're talking about. We are calling this the Buffalo Trace Phase 1 housing area. So it would be in the we're going to call it the 2025 housing area. The rebate agreement would be called, it would be in connection, we'll call it with Buffalo Trace Phase 1. So with that, what you're doing tonight is you're going to have a public hearing on designating a 2025 urban renewal area. And all you're doing is setting up that area so that in the future, whether Phase 1 happens, if there's a Phase 2, the area has already been set up and we could just implement new TIF ordinances for each phase that come on. You're also saying that there's a necessity here to set up a new TIF area because you have a developer who's willing to build houses and you're willing to rebate them money back. Now, again, you don't have that value right now, right? So if this developer doesn't do anything in your community, you don't benefit from it. So the only way that you benefit is if you're going to give them an incentive, because then they're going to build the houses. These rebate agreements, all 4 that we're talking about, were requested in October. So in all good faith, trying to move them along, people, because they were requested in October of last year. And we put the brakes on and said, we can't do anything until we better understand everything that's going on at the city level. We've worked through these with bond counsel, Dorsey and Whitney firm. We've worked through these with Heather. We've worked through them our own. We've run all of the numbers on them at Spear, worked with a select group of people, Kate and the mayor and Julie, so that we know that this is where they stand with these rebate agreements. So we at Spear believe in TIF. We think TIF is a good thing because, in my opinion, a rebate agreement, they have to perform before you have to perform. In a true rebate agreement, they have to build something. That something has to pay new taxes and you rebate back those new taxes. So people will say, well, what's that financial? It hurts us financially. It doesn't technically hurt you financially today because those new taxes aren't there. And if you don't incentivize them and give them money to help put in that infrastructure that is so very costly, they're probably not going to build their homes and you're not going to have that new value to begin with.
So in simple terms, this is basically a break on taxes, am I right, for 11 years?
It
No?
is and it isn't.
Okay.
It is, but it's not an abatement. An abatement would say you're just not letting them pay their, they're not having to pay their taxes. They will physically, the people that buy these homes and build these homes will pay the taxes. Those incentives do not go back to those homeowners. It goes back to the developer because the developer is taking the risk to put in the infrastructure, to sell the lots, to make sure homes get built so that there is increment there to get
Okay.
rebated back on.
Okay,
So it is not an incentive to the homeowners themselves.
okay.
But when you talk about the abatement, that's how it used to be done, is like you would abate them 75%, and a lot of times some of them never paid their 25%. At this time, with these rebates, they pay all of their taxes and then we rebate it back to them.
Correct. And abatement has struggled through the years because the state legislature 2 years ago removed school taxes from the abatement. So, and you can only abate the first $75,000 of a home value. So if you're a homeowner and you build a $900,000 home, you're still gonna pay $825,000 worth of all three entities' taxes. Plus, on the $75,000 that you're getting abated, you would be paying, you would only be less the city and the county portion. So abatement in housing has, I think, fallen a little out of grace because it's not lucrative, but it's also not lucrative because abatement doesn't get the developer anything.
Right.
And the developer is the one taking the risk right now. A developer is not going to come in and say, sure, I'll build $900,000 worth of infrastructure, sell the lots, and then those people can get their money back. That's not what they're going to do because again, they're going to be on the hook for the infrastructure cost.
Well, and part of, I think what you're referring to too, this has to be legally allowed to have a TIF district. There was a couple of those developments that weren't allowed to be in a TIF district previously.
Correct.
And then we used a different method with the abatements. But this has that ability to be able to do that because there is no withstanding business or homes on it.
So item number 1, you're gonna hold a public hearing to designate and set aside the 2025 urban renewal area. Then you're gonna do on item number 16, a resolution that says you're declaring necessity to establish that urban renewal area. And that's something that has to be done because it's brand new. Then item number 17 is the TIF ordinance. So again, we're setting up this urban renewal area and we're saying this is phase 1 and we've got to start the TIF ordinance on phase 1. By setting up the TIF ordinance, that does have 3 readings. So item number 17 is 1 reading. Item number 18 is waiving the 2nd and 3rd readings. You do not have to do that. I would encourage you to do that because these folks have been waiting since October, and there are a couple of these agreements in here that these folks are waiting to close on land purchases so that the developments can move forward and start. Yeah, they are, and this is pretty common in every city that I deal in. Developers are usually not willing to work and put money on the line until you've signed the rebate agreement with them, because it's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars that they're going to be investing in your community. So we've got, if you motion to waive the 2nd and the 3rd readings, then you can adopt the TIF ordinance in number 19. And then we would change the date then, if that all takes place in number 20, you would change the date to September 8th, meaning that on September 8th, you would hold a public hearing instead of September 22nd. And then that would be the same night you'd hold the public hearing on the rebate agreement itself, the development agreement, which bond counsel Dorsey and Whitney has already drafted and letting us look at all the draft version. You would do that and then you would approve it that night and the mayor could sign it that night. The developer could sign it the morning of September 9th. That's where we would really like this to go, but it completely is up to you when you get to number 18.
And just a reminder on the location of this land, is it west of Hudson Road on Ranchero?
Yes.
I'm gonna let you guys, it's up in
Yes.
the northern tier area,
That's what I was just
It's
asking.
but it is, yes.
With the land that we recently acquired, or I mean.
Annexed.
Annexed, thank you.
Thank you. That, yes, annexed, so yes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna leave it at that with questions about Buffalo Trace. And then once you get through all those, we'll start with before 21. We'll talk about those 3 agreements, but this is housing. I did bring with me, and I should share it with you. housing phase one, for this agreement is 6 homes. But we assume these homes are gonna be worth about $750,000 each.
Okay.
Each. So that would bring an increment of about, just off these 6 homes, about $4.5 million. And we are looking at a rebate of not to exceed $440,000, which will be in the rebate agreement. And that is, and there will be also LMI set aside, low to moderate income set aside. So the city will collect some of those dollars in low to moderate income set aside and be able to spend those dollars throughout the community, as those dollars also come in, because it's housing. You can't incentivize a housing developer who's going to build what's called market housing, just normal rate housing, without having an LMI set aside. The state law requires it. So if you'll recall, you have a prior development that had a limited dollar amount for your LMI because of an IEDA, Iowa Economic Development Agency approval. We don't have that approval for this, so this will be the normal LMI rate. So I assume you'll see phase one. If phase one kicks off, we assume phase two could be coming in the next year and a half.
They're talking a total of 26.
They are talking a total, I believe, of 26 homes, correct?
Oh, about
And
that same.
for
Yeah,
all about
about
that
that
same
same.
price range. We use 750. I believe the developer said it would be closer to
It's a million,
900,000.
I thought, yeah,
We use
even a million,
750
yeah. Okay.
as our conservative number.
Thank
So,
you, Maggie.
and it has to be, I want to point out, the 440,000 that we're talking about rebating them back off of these 6 homes is tied directly to the infrastructure costs. This developer will have to prove up to us with receipts and payments of those receipts that they spent at least $440,000 before we can give them $440,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that Heather?
No, that was.
No, I'm here.
She's on there.
Got it.
Yeah.
I was like, who's talking now?
That's-
So it is tied directly to infrastructure. This developer, and he understands this, will have to provide us receipts of when they do their street, their water, their sewer, all that kind of stuff. And if they only get to $390,000, that will be all that you would ever be able to rebate them if they generate the
Are we able to speak
$390,000.
to who the developer is? Kurt,
Yes,
he's been here
because-
forever.
Yeah,
Kurt, okay.
Yep.
Yes, this one is Kurt Babers.
Okay. This does not do anything with the development agreements yet, though, correct?
Correct. The development agreement would be on your September 8th.
After
or
that,
September
okay,
22nd.
and that's where we need to make sure that Public Works is
Yeah.
involved with how that all
What
ties
we
in.
talked about.
Yeah.
Perfect.
This, and in this agreement, we, this would be the developer doing the infrastructure, not the city expensing what we'll say.
Correct.
Your money.
That's
to
where
do
we-
that.
We just need to
Yeah.
clarify those development
Mhm.
agreements a little bit better than
Yeah.
we have in the past, so.
So, am I making a motion that we have a
No,
public
no,
hearing?
no, I have to open a public hearing first.
Okay, go for it.
And close it.
I'll go ahead and open the public hearing on proposed designation of the 2025 Hudson Housing Urban Renewal Area. Have we received any written comments?
No, we have not.
Do we have any oral comments?
I just have a question. If you get 26 new homes, we have a lot of homes for sale already in Hudson. Like a 700,000 asking price is not, in this economy, very welcoming. Where are the kids gonna go to school? Yes, because we're kind of tapped out for space at school. So that's my question. Does this involve thus raising taxes again to expand schools?
We're accepting comments, so if you just want to express your concern
I'm
as
just
to,
concerned if it would raise taxes yet again for
Okay.
schools to expand and build more since we're tapped out on space.
any
I would
other
also like
comments?
to express my concern too, because I have a 3rd grader who is the biggest class at Hudson right now, and the first class that had to offer 4 teachers for each, 4 teachers for that grade, and now every grade below him except for 1, we've had to hire an extra teacher.
Well, and this is really a separate issue too. It's a school issue versus a city issue. But our job is to develop the town and to grow the town.
But that's
So,
just my concern.
sure,
I-
completely agree.
Is there any other comment? Or- Yes,
Anthony Murray, 105 Whitetail.
Okay.
And I guess I'm gonna phrase this, it's partially a question, but I'm just gonna phrase it. Do we owe them services once the homes are built? And if so, isn't that money out of our pockets without getting the tax rate for that? And if so, my question would be, why isn't the developer charging those fees with the sale of the lot and the sale of the property, as opposed to us having to incentivize, because we are in a budget issue? I don't understand the whole process, but I would ask that those items be considered.
First of all, let me address, I assume your ordinance states for new homes that you have to provide services so that you're not allowing people to build wells and private septic
Yes,
systems. So yes, if the city moves forward, it is your responsibility that services are provided. You're asking the developer to provide those services and not the city to be building those services. The developer will take those services from wherever point, the end point is of those services near their development, and they will bring those services into their development. That is what you're rebating them back on, is them, the cost of them bringing those services into your development.
And that gets to the development agreement, making sure the i's are dotted and t's are crossed. Jake?
Particular development, the rural water district, not Hudson. So we will not have Hudson water there. And I believe the lot size is an acre and a half.
Is that R6?
For septic.
Yeah.
They will be on septic, will not be on.
Right.
The city.
Yep. So yeah, so that all goes with your ordinance and where they're located. Yep.
Okay, any other comments? I'll go ahead and close the public hearing then. Move on to resolution 3374, declare necessity and establish an urban renewal area pursuant to section 403.4 of the Code of Iowa and to approve urban renewal plan and projects for the 2025 Hudson Housing Urban Renewal Area.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Wyatt.
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
Cool. Aye. Lawson.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Okay. Ordinance 923, providing for the division of taxes.
Wait, yeah, is that the right one?
Yep.
Sorry.
Okay.
Didn't
Levied
press
on
one.
taxable property in the 2025 Hudson Housing Urban Renewal Area pursuant to section 403.19 of the Code of Iowa. And this is for the motion for the first reading.
So moved.
Discussion? Roll call.
Cook.
Aye.
Cool. Aye. Lawson.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Okay. Motion to waive the second and third reading of ordinance 923, providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable profit in the 2025 Hudson Housing Urban Renewal Area pursuant to section 403.19 of the Code of Iowa.
So moved.
Discussion?
Yeah. Maggie mentioned that this was on the table in October and it's been on hold since then, and we didn't know anything was going on until February.
Yeah.
So what was that about?
There were just emails back and forth with your prior clerk, but it had never been brought up to bond council. It had never really been brought up to Spear. And so we just would assume it was based on some financial concerns at that point in time. And so we were made aware of it in February. We reached out to the developers, Kate, myself, and Gail, and said, we're not telling you no,
Timeout.
but we gotta have a timeout here, and we gotta get through all of the rest of this and all the bonding and recouping all of those other things before we can look at these, and they were willing to.
So this process was an issue. The reason I'm asking, because it has to do with why we're speeding it up by
Yeah.
passing the second, third readings.
Yeah.
So this process was initiated by the developer in October. We know that from emails, but
Mhm.
nothing was said or discovered about it until
February.
February.
And so what would have been the financial concern that would have stopped us from talking about this? Because we're not talking about outlaying money.
Correct. I don't disagree with that. I think that you were in a negative TIF fund balance, and your prior clerk maybe did not want to address anything new related to TIF.
Got it.
That would be my take on it, based on looking at the financials at that point in time.
Thank you.
So, do I think this would be happening this summer, work this summer? Probably. Had it moved forward, the developer was very willing to say, we understand, we'll take the time out. We like the city, we'd like to work with the city, and so.
And we're no
Was it-
longer in a negative TIF balance.
You are not in a negative TIF balance at this point in time. You're not really supposed to carry a big TIF balance. So we're working through all of that, but you're not in a negative TIF balance at this time. And again, you wouldn't use the TIF balance that you have. This will only come from the generation of new taxes, and when those taxes are paid is when you rebate those out to the developer.
Was
So it
any-
could be 3 years from now, obviously, because our taxes are 18 months in the rears.
Okay.
Was anyone else besides me unaware of that until just now?
Of what?
Oh,
Of the
you
request?
didn't know that?
Did we know that things were going on last fall? No.
No, I'm just saying, like, I didn't even know until just now what she just explained. Did anyone else not know until just now? Or did you just learn that for the first time?
About the negative TIF balance?
No, about this whole process starting in October.
Oh, I didn't know the
I didn't know
October
it.
part.
Yeah,
I
that's
found out
Heather's got
correct.
something she's saying.
Yeah, I want to be, I want to be careful here. Matt, I did not know that there were emails in October until recently either, but I want to be careful about what we discuss in terms of things that may
Why
have
it
gone on
happened.
with the previous, yeah.
Got it.
Any
I
other
mean,
discussion?
yeah, sorry.
Did you have, I'm sorry, Heather, did you want to add something?
No, I would just be clear that I'll be completely transparent. I don't want to talk about a previous employee without giving that employee the opportunity for a closed session. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. No other further discussion? Roll call?
Cool.
Aye.
Lawson. Priester.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Hi.
Cook.
Okay. Motion to adopt ordinance 923, providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the 2025 Hudson Housing Urban Renewal Area pursuant to section 403.19 of the Code of Iowa. So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Lawson. Priester.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Cook.
Cool.
Aye. Okay. Go to resolution 3375, setting a date of public hearing, at which it is proposed to approve a development agreement with Jennifer and Kurt Favors, including annual appropriation tax increment payments, housing infrastructure for September 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Lawson. Priester.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
Cool.
Aye.
Lawson.
Cook.
Did he do that twice?
6.
How many?
All right, motion carried. All right, moving on
Maggie.
to, yes.
Okay, so a little bit of difference here. You are setting a date of public hearing. This is just to amend the northern tier commercial urban renewal area. That urban renewal area has already been established, the northern tier. So all you're doing is amending that urban renewal area because you're, you a couple weeks ago took some property out of it and you're adding some property back into it. And that's because that property never had started any growth on it. And we want to make sure that it gets under new TIF district, it gets a 20-year life. And so that is what you're doing. You're amending that district, but you're not setting up a new district by any means. This is amending. This is related to 3 commercial rebate agreements. So the declaration of necessity in item number 22 is just saying that we're amending that urban renewal plan, which is a requirement of the state law to identify what those projects could be. Then you would be again providing for the division of taxes with an ordinance, because again, you're setting up a new TIF ordinance that establishes a new timeline for these specific 3 lots. And then you would, potentially on number 22, waive the second and third, adopt the ordinance, and then set the date of public hearings. And you're setting 3 public hearings because each agreement gets its own public hearing. And those are, again, could be then done if you June number 24. If number 24 is approved, then you could set the date of September 8th on all 3 of these agreements. They are all commercial. They are 2 commercial buildings and 1, we'll call it event center. And 3 of them, 2 of them are with Jennifer and Kurt Favors, and 1 is with Dirtworks Dirtworks Construction LLC. Again, you're not approving any development agreements. Those would be the hearings on September 8th with those development agreements. Commercial and industrial is not tied to infrastructure. So likely the infrastructure is at these 3 lots. You're just giving them incentive for putting commercial buildings. And the valuations that we're talking about on those commercial buildings, so they can pull that. One of the warehouses is $1 million of value estimated. The event center is a $2.2 million valuation estimate. And those are the valuations they would increase by. And then there's a small, commercial property, and it would be at roughly $225,000 of increase in valuation. So between those, you're looking at probably about $3.5 million of increased valuation that you would be doing some rebate agreements on.
And is this along, is it Riders Road or something like that?
No, it's out by Baver still.
Yeah.
It's near the same,
Okay, so it's on west of Hudson.
We've got,
Are, but
Fast
one is
lane.
over on Fast Lane.
yeah, one is on
Over there by
Fast Lane,
Dr.
one
Powers.
is
Fast lane.
correct,
You were
and then
west
one
of
is like
the
Dean
dirt.
Lane's Drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanna check, because we, on our last one, I know Maggie mentioned that she wanted to try to fast track these, and I don't know if anyone did motion for the public hearing for the development agreement for,
September 8th.
yeah.
The mayor read September
We did
8th.
Okay.
Yep.
perfect. My
So we will,
apologies,
and you'll get new notices tomorrow
Right.
from Dorsey.
I just wanna make
If
sure I
you
have that right.
change that date, they will get you
Phone
new
dial?
notices so that they get
To get
in the
public.
paper by the 8th.
I guess I have cord, but.
All right. We'll go ahead and open the public hearing on proposed amendment to the Hudson Northern Tier Commercial Urban Renewal Area. Do we have any written comments?
We do not.
Okay, do we have any oral comments? Okay, we'll go ahead and close that public hearing. Resolution 3376 to declare necessity and establish an urban renewal area pursuant to section 403.4 of the Code of Iowa and approve urban renewal plan amendment for the Hudson Northern Tier Commercial Urban Renewal Area. Discussion? Roll call.
Reister.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Cool.
Aye.
Lawson.
Motion carried. Ordinance 924, providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in August of 2024-25, addition to the Hudson Northern Tier Commercial Urban Renewal Area pursuant to section 403.19 of the Code of Iowa. A motion for first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion? Roll call.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
Sewell.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Okay, motion to waive the second and third reading of ordinance 924, providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in August 2025, addition to the Hudson Northern Tier Commercial Urban Renewal Area pursuant to section 403.19 of the Code of Iowa.
second, go ahead.
Discussion? Roll call.
Cook.
Aye.
Sewell.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Motion then to adopt ordinance 924, providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in August 2025, addition to the Hudson Northern Tier Commercial Urban Renewal Area pursuant to section 403.19 of the Code of Iowa.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Sewell.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
Resolution 3377, setting a date of public hearing at which is proposed to approve a development agreement with Dirtworks Construction LLC, including annual appropriation tax increment payments for September 8th at 6 p.m.
So moved.
Question, that line reads September 26th.
That's why we passed the, we waived the second and third.
So you can move it up to the 8th.
Gotcha, sorry.
Yep.
So moved.
Good, okay.
We still needed to do that.
No, you were just the second, Jeff already first, but that's okay.
We're okay.
Okay. Discussion? Roll call.
Lawson.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Did you
Wyatt.
say Priester? Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
Sewell.
Aye.
Kind of fits almost.
Okay. Resolution 3378, setting a date of public hearing at which is proposed to approve a development agreement with Jennifer and Kurt Favors, including annual appropriation tax, increment payments, event center for September 8th at 6 p.m.
So moved. Second, whatever.
Right. Any discussion? Roll call.
Reeser.
I, it's, you said it right. I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at someone else.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Lawson.
It's Reister.
Rhymes with Easter. Yeah, you've been doing a great
It
job.
just sounded like you said priester and I was confused about if he was a priest. And sorry.
All right.
Can't take the bottle.
Resolution 3379, setting a date of meeting at which is proposed to provide a development agreement with Jennifer and Kurt Favors, including annual appropriation tax increment payments, commercial building for September 8th at 6 p.m.
So much.
Okay.
Okay, discussion? Roll call.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
Stool.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Reister.
All right.
I will not be able to be at your September 8th meeting because I have a bond sale, but I will be giving you a memo that just outlines these these 4 development agreements, kind of what we estimated the value, things that we talked about tonight, what the not to exceed amount is, you know, et cetera, what the
Love it.
buildings are, stuff like that.
Thank
So
you.
we'll just do a 1-pager and we'll get that over to you in the next week. And then that should be what you need.
And-
Thank you.
Just for your own knowledge.
And Julie, and if I could just dovetail on top of that. Yep. Can you all hear me? Can you
Yep.
guys hear me? Yeah, if I could just dovetail on top of that, Maggie, when you give that memo to them, Julie, make sure you include that in the whole packet for the 8th, right?
Yep.
Okay, include that in the packet and include it in the full agenda that's posted. And 2, I also cannot be at your meeting on the 8th. So if there are questions for us ahead of time, make sure you get those to us so that we can address those in advance if you all have any.
Thank you.
Thanks, Heather.
You bet. And while I'm talking and we move on to 29, can I just give an update on 29 before you all talk about it a little bit more, just so that I can clarify
Thanks,
exactly what it is?
Thanks,
Yes,
Steve.
please.
Please.
Okay, so 29 is on your agenda because the last time you discussed this issue, the resolution simply gave notice to the school district that you wished to terminate the contract early if they would be amenable to it. We now know that they were not amenable to it. So this resolution is the formal notice directing the mayor to send them notice that you wish to terminate the contract timely under the provisions in advance of the January deadline. This resolution specifically says that you're interested in renegotiating the contract, perhaps under different terms if the school district is. So the way I would phrase 29 is this allows you to legally provide notice to the district to terminate the SRO contract for the 26-27 school year under the terms of the 28 agreement now. It does not prohibit you from entering into a new 2080 agreement if you so choose for another school district year, including 26-27 and beyond.
Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, we'll go on to resolution 3380, directing notice to terminate SRO contract with Hudson Community Schools for 2026-2027 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, I have a lot of discussion. Well, not a lot, but just to reiterate what Heather said in case everybody could not hear this. This is not our intent to remove this position. We have to notify the school by January 1 if we want to negotiate any terms of this contract, including which tax dollar bucket the funds come from for this. I was on a little bit of social media explaining a little bit of this, but I just want to make sure that it's out loud too. As of today, the current agreement is that we split the salary of the SRO 50-50 with the school. The city pays 50%, the school pays 50%.
And benefits.
What?
And benefits.
We don't split benefits.
We do.
We pay benefits, okay.
No,
I believe when we did the calculation.
It was for salary and benefits, and has been.
Meaning we split the salary and benefits?
Are we fully splitting them? Because that can't equal out, I don't
No,
think, but
Can't say, cause I have been unable to locate the actual.
the actual agreement, I have it. I
So-
can get that to you.
Um,
Either way,
and it's not for like the entire year, it's just the school year.
so, yes, yeah,
Each-
oh, okay.
Each semester.
So,
So,
but the amount of time, if we look at it over a year period, the total amount of time that the SRO is in the school versus working for the city is, I figured 70-30. It's really 75-25 if you want to take 9 months versus 3 months, but by the time you add in vacations, summer break, spring break, whatever, it's really kind of 70-30. So what the intent, or at least my intent of this now, again, I am not going to be here after December 31st, is to renegotiate the potential terms that potentially the school taxes take on some more of this payment for things like the training, the equipment, the uniforms, the anything else that actually provides towards that. So, again, yes, as of right now, this is what we pay, is that splitting between the two, but we cannot negotiate any of those where those tax dollars go unless we give formal notice prior to January 1st that we're going to do that. So this is simply just the notice that we want to renegotiate that 28E and enter into a new one, just updating the contract terms.
any other
Do
discussion?
we have a motion on the table?
Yes, yes.
The only thing I was gonna throw out there, I was gonna clarify what you just did,
Mhm.
which good job. I totally agree with all that. The second thing I was gonna say is, the vote that we took to send the message to the school that we would like to get out of the agreement for this year. I voted for that. I stand by that because we're in a budget crunch. We're trying to save money. At the same time, I think I said this at the last meeting, if I was on the school board and I wanted the SRO program, I would have done exactly what they did,
Agreed.
which is reject the offer. And, I just think that things work the way we're supposed to. I mean, we did what we needed to do. They did what they needed to do. Here we are. And we have to renegotiate this if we're gonna do it in the future.
Mhm.
And so that's what this is about.
But I also want to say too, that I believe personally that the terms of it should not be renegotiated until after the next council and school board are in place. So as of right now, we can give notice before January 1st, but don't have to do the actual negotiation to put that in play before January
I
1st.
don't
Am I
believe
correct
the
with that,
school
Heather?
board is gonna change after.
They
the
have
first
two,
meeting.
they have 2 spots open for election.
Was it school and general government at the
Yes.
same time?
Yes.
That's right, it did move to that, didn't it?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So they have 2
Yes.
spots open. Now, it could be the
Okay.
exact same people. I don't know. I don't know who's running and who's not, but there will be at least
Yes,
one new person on this council. And I
Right,
think that
right, all this does is
Allow-
we send notice that says we want to terminate the 2080 agreement we're currently in, and it will be terminated. After that, it's up to both entities to determine if they want a new 2080 and under what terms they want it. When that occurs is completely up to the 2 entities.
correct. So my suggestion for this, once we do this, is to not have the discussion on the new terms until the next council is seated and the next school board is seated. If that makes any sense, because I think it should be the people making the decisions going forward for the next 4 years.
Any other discussion? Okay, roll call.
Cook. Cool. Aye. Lawson.
Oh,
Reister.
All right.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Motion carries. An informational item is in the packet, reminder items. Public Works Committee meeting, September 10th, at 7 AM. Personnel Admin Finance Committee meeting, September 22nd at 4:45. Public Safety meeting, August 28th at, 4 PM. And then the next one after that will be September 25th at 4 PM. Next council meetings, September 8th and September 22nd, both at 6 PM.
Turn.
Second. Right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you. I will.
But thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.